Kamala Harris is out. Now, when the other candidates left, I didn't care too much, but Kamala Harris dropping out is of particular significance because, as we all remember, I mean, this may sound immodest, but she was a top-tier candidate. Remember that? When she got into it with Tulsi Gabbard, and Tulsi Gabbard took her down, pointing out that Kamala Harris locked up tons of people for smoking pot and then laughed about it when she was asked if she smoked pot. Yeah, because she's a liar. Or how about when Tulsi Gabbard mentioned that she kept people beyond their sentences by withholding evidence or used them for cheap labor? Yeah, Kamala Harris, not a good person. So thank you, Tulsi Gabbard, but we'll get to that. Let's read the story first, see what's going on. And I got a bunch of memes and hot takes, a statement from Kamala, and you are going to love the latest hot take. Surprise, surprise. What do you think some of these prominent left-wing individuals are saying about the Democratic 2020 race now that Kamala Harris, a woman of color, has dropped out? White supremacy. I kid you not. And that is interesting. As of right now, the only candidates qualified for the December debates are white. Lo and behold. But the left certainly has their hot takes. Let's read the news first. NBC News reporting Senator Kamala Harris dropped out of the presidential race on Tuesday. It happened earlier today, ending a 12-month campaign that began with an explosion of enthusiasm but fizzled quickly. An aide told NBC News that the senator had notified her staff Tuesday that she was dropping out of the race, and the campaign emailed the news to supporters soon after. Quote, "I'm not a billionaire. I can't fund my own campaign," Harris said in the email. "And as the campaign has gone on, it's become harder and harder to raise the money we need to compete. In good faith, I can't tell you, my supporters and volunteers, that I have a path forward if I don't believe I do." Her exit out comes just weeks before the deadline to get off the ballot in Harris's home state of California, a move that could spare her some embarrassment if she thought she would lose there. She had already qualified for the debate later this month. She should have done the debate. I mean, why not? Some people are speculating the reason she's dropping out now is because she wants to leave open the possibility that she can be a VP. I don't think that will happen. Kamala Harris has no personality, no brand, no core base. Sorry. She is well known because she's just a crony Democrat. That's about it. You look at these other people, and Biden doesn't really have it either, sure, Buttigieg, but there are a couple people with big, people behind, like Warren's got a base. Sanders got a base. Tulsi's got a base. Tulsi's might be smaller than everybody else's. Yang's got a base. Kamala Harris doesn't have any of that. They say Harris announced her candidacy nearly a year ago on Martin Luther King Jr. Day and attracted attention for her performance at the first Democratic debate in June, when she attacked former Vice President Joe for his stance on busing and school segregation. Harris, however, had been unable to maintain momentum in the months following amid a sustained drop in polling over the summer. Her campaign reorganized, laying off some staffers in early states to focus its resources and attention on Iowa. But also, we had that aide recently. I don't know if you saw the story. A former staffer for Harris came out saying it was like horribly mismanaged and people were being treated really, really poorly. And then she flipped for Michael Bloomberg. How weird. But she did. They said that didn't break her fall in the polls. The latest Real Clear Politics average of recent polling showed Harris with just 3.4% support nationally and just 3.3% and 2.7% backing in the early voting states of Iowa and New Hampshire, respectively. And what did, so that's the average, that's fair. But Tulsi Gabbard, at least, has gotten a 6% nationwide from Boston Globe, Suffolk. I think Tulsi is going to get a lot from this. People are going to look at it and say, you know what? Let's be real. This was Tulsi's doing. But let's check out, I think I might have a more, so the email from Kamala Harris is basically what I already read, that she's not a billionaire. I can't fund my own campaign. I can't fund my own campaign. And as it goes on, it becomes harder and harder. But I'll tell you what, you can't fund your own campaign because nobody wants to fund your own campaign. If you're a popular individual, people will donate money, but you're not. So the reality is, yes, technically it's because she has no money, but in reality it's because people don't like her. And that's really it. People like Bernie. Bernie's raised like $65 million. Good for him. But there's I got some memes. I want to show you some stuff. Think about this. Michael Tracy notes, quote, "She's probably the front runner at this point, folks." Nate Silver on Kamala Harris, January 29, 2019. What could have possibly happened? Kamala Harris, the front runner, Nate Silver says. He's 538. Something happened. I know what happened, and so do you all. Tracy then notes, Kamala is seen as super formidable because the media says she's super formidable. I love how they pretend they have no role in shaping perceptions, especially this early in the process. Michael goes on to add, this is from September. Oh, these are all from September, mind you. This is from a while ago. The early hype around Kamala was a product of the media projecting onto her because she was in line with their sensibilities for who the Democratic nominee should be. But of course, none of them would admit that was a factor in their baseless prognosticating. So there's someone else says there was an era where she existed in the same or higher tier in Nate's tiered presidential rankings over Bernie. Michael says, yep, that was also the era when Nate routinely placed Bernie in the same tier as Mayor Pete. And Bernie, if you're going to ask me, is the real frontrunner. He's the real frontrunner because of base fundraising, but we'll see. But you might be wondering, some of you are probably saying, Tim, I don't know what happened to knock Kamala Harris out of that frontrunner position. Well, first, maybe Nate Silver is just wrong, but we all have seen it. Here's Will Chamberlain tweeting at the New York Times when they said breaking, Senator Kamala Harris is out. Will Chamberlain's response, thank you, Tulsi Gabbard. And I must confess, he is correct. Yes, indeed. Tulsi Gabbard, it was that moment when at the debate when she said you kept people in prison beyond their sentences. You locked up people who smoked weed and then laughed about it when you were asked. I haven't seen the video, but I was reading that she was talking, Kamala Harris, about imprisoning single mothers who can't keep their kids in school and laughed about it. She is an awful person. She is a snooty, elitist authoritarian. And Tulsi Gabbard gave her a nice little 1, 2, 3, and that was the moment when everything started to fall apart for Kamala. I don't think Tulsi is solely responsible. I think Kamala is. I think she's a bad candidate. But after that moment, I was so happy. I am so grateful to have supported and contributed to Tulsi's campaign to make sure she's on that debate stage when she took down her. And not only that, when Tulsi threw some mud over at Hillary Clinton being, rot personified. Woo! It just, I know that when Tulsi came out and insulted Hillary Clinton, I gotta admit, I'm not usually the person to fall for emotional satisfaction. I always complain about that, saying we should be pragmatic and focus on how to actually win. But I gotta say, man, Tulsi has delivered that emotional satisfaction for everybody, except their supporters, obviously. If you're on the left and you're a progressive and you saw what Tulsi did, and this is what blows my mind. It's like, come on, man. Like the Young Turks, you gotta recognize Tulsi slinging that mud at Kamala and Hillary was amazing. You don't have to, the left should be on board. You don't gotta vote for her. You don't gotta do that, but you can at least say, yes, she's targeting the crony, authoritarian, awful people. But I now bring you to probably the most poignant tweet. I was actually impressed with the succinctness of what the Daily Wire had to say about Kamala Harris and her campaign. Truly, a sign of great intellect and insight. Unfortunately for you on the podcast, you're going to miss this one, but there it is. So if you're just listening, you missed the joke, but it's the meme of someone pushing someone else off a building, and it says Tulsi Gabbard and Kamala Harris. And then we have this tweet from Siraj Hashmi, and yes, it's Tulsi Gabbard in that meme of all of the black dudes going, oh, and then the guy's got his hands on his head, and it's Tulsi in the middle. I'm about to end Kamala Harris's whole career. And there's another one with her wearing a crown. Yup. She done did it. So he said Kamala Harris drops out of the race, and then it's a video of Tulsi Gabbard playing the ukulele in the airport. So yeah, I think it's fair to point out Tulsi Gabbard did play a big role. And that's one of the most important things, man. Listen, the cronies were not going to come out as hard as they did. They weren't going to speak truth about the authoritarian, abusive powers these people want to do. Name somebody who came out and called out Hillary Clinton for what she was. Tulsi did that. Much respect. Much respect. Tulsi's fantastic. But now we get it from Lauren Duca. Kamala Harris officially ended her campaign today, which means that all of the candidates who currently qualify for the December Democratic debates are white. Sanders, Warren, Biden, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and Steyer. White supremacy is not just a Fox News problem, folks. And there it is, your glorious finale hot take, like an explosion of fireworks in the sky. We couldn't just leave being satisfied that the authoritarian monster that is Kamala Harris is out. And also, Yang and Tulsi and Booker might still qualify. I'm rooting for them. I want to see them on the debate stage. And I think they should. But also, We're going to see Harris's support split up now. And guess what? Among those candidates, that's what's really fascinating. And if you trust Nate Silver, he says that when polled, those candidates are basically who, Harris's voters would end up supporting after the fact. Now that she's out, it's about 3 to 4% of the electorate that's going to go to other people. Probably won't move the needle too much, but we'll see what happens. But there you have it. What a roller coaster this has been. Kamala Harris is out. Everybody starts making memes about Tulsi Gabbard, one pushing her off a building, and then we can't finish without Lauren Duca chiming in, claiming it is white supremacy. Yes, that's it. That's it. But I will leave it there. What a fun day. Stick around. I got a couple more segments coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.